He is the modern-day Don Nealon.
But Don Nealon's Mountaineers enjoy walking in where angels fear to tread.
He's bought into the program.
As the hills of West Virginia resound with the sounds of Golden Blue football.
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
Let them know. Leave no doubt tonight. Leave no doubt tonight. No doubt. They shouldn't have played the old Golden Blue.
I was watching ESPN today and they showed a little thing about our game tonight in the poll. And the whole U.S. was covered in red. And the only state, the greatest state in the nation, was covered in blue, and that was West Virginia. And that's why we won this game.
Trust the climb.
And now it's time for the Country Roads Webcast.
What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Welcome into another edition of the Country Roads Webcast. Joined by my co-host Bradley. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and we got a couple special guests here with us today for a Country Roads conversation. I'm sure you all know the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley. You've seen him on many Mountaineer platforms, and we also have a special guest here, Tommy too. These two are going to be starting up their own West Virginia show, so we're very honored and really appreciative of your time, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on the Country Roads Webcast today.
Thanks.
I know.
It's exciting.
Tommy too. Give us a boom.
Boom.
You bring the boom, I bring the pow. Go ahead, George.
Hey, there you go, the dynamic duo.
Yeah,
we appreciate you guys for coming on, and really excited you guys bringing the energy. And there's always good energy when we're talking Mountaineer football, and that's kind of what I wanted to kick it off with the question for you guys. I know Wolf, I know you're around the program a lot. I know we just wrapped up the spring game, and of course that was only one of 15 practices that us fans get to see, but I know you saw more than that. And one of the things that stood out to me, I do a little segment on our YouTube channel, Cruise Film Reviews, where I kind of break down some of the plays throughout the game. And I knew throughout the spring they had talked a lot about West Virginia using two back sets in the practices. Whether it's one guy stays in to pass block and somebody goes out in the pass protection, or you got a lead blocker for the guy you're handing it off to. I really liked the sound of that, and I know in the spring game they wanted to keep it a little bit more vanilla, seeing a lot of 10 personnel and 11 personnel. So my question is, throughout the other practices, did you see more of the two back sets, 21 personnel, maybe even 22 personnel, and do you think we'll see some more of that from Graham Harrell's offense this upcoming season?
Yeah, you'll see a little bit of 21. You'll see a little bit of 20. Actually, that's 2 running backs, 0 tight ends, 3 wide receivers, and he's gonna have a whole bag. He did go vanilla for very much for most of the time, and but he did show one thing, man. Dude likes to take shots. That's what they've been doing all spring, taking shots down the field. An exciting offense, not only for the receivers, but for the offensive linemen and tight ends and the running backs, which, of course, now they have 4 solid ones there with a few others that are a little bit behind them. But they have a lot of tools, and when you have so many tools, you got to find a way to get them on the field, and that means going 20 personnel for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think four great horses there in the backfield, so I was excited to hear about that, and I love the offense that we saw. You don't want to show Pitt anything, so of course that's why they kept it a little bit more vanilla, but I think there's a lot of good wrinkles that we'll see going into the season, and I'm the X's and O's kind of guy. I love the stats, I love the numbers, and then my other two co-hosts, they're a little bit more on the recruiting and the NIL and stuff like that. And that's why I'm going to pass the mic here to Brad, because I think he had a question relating to NIL, transfer portal type of stuff. So, Brad, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. So I cover a lot of our recruiting stuff, and it's something we've been wondering is you're working with the Country Roads Trust, and how do you feel like that was a pretty big move for West Virginia? I think we heard Neil Brown talk about it earlier in the spring season. We were going after a certain recruit, and he had said that, we were lacking behind in that a little bit on the NIL side and the kind of foundation that we had set up for it. And I think after that, Neil Brown kind of talked about how we were making a step for that, and that's when we saw the Country Roads Trust introduced, and we saw some old big West Virginia personalities get invested in that, like yourself. And I wanted to know if you could give us some more insight on that, kind of like what it's like in your day-to-day life, talking, interacting with those people. I know you guys try to get the players on a lot to, try to get them a brand out there, but like some of the things that you guys have got going on.
Absolutely. But let's take a step backwards and see where this came from the very beginning. Because Tommy, too, unknown to many, as he's going to be known here shortly, is a super agent. And he's an agent in all types of avenues. And he was always there at the beginning of this whole NIL thing in the formation. meeting with Oliver Luck, Stephen Ford.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tommy. Tell us how this all came about and your perspective. Even though you work with Country Roads Trust, you are not a specific part of it. Tell us what went down, man.
Well, it's just been an exciting time, with the changes in NIL laws when all this stuff's opened up. As West Virginians, we knew that in order to compete, we were going to have to look at new models and ways to, stay in the game. And, the economic impact was so important to our state that we couldn't be negligent. Yeah, we all want to win, but the reality is WVU Sports provides about $350 million a year of economic impact into the state and about $80 million of economic impact just into Mon County. And so, we all want to win, but we also have to recognize that with this change in law that has forced these changes in sport, we have to stay competitive to not only keep our teams where we want to be, but to also keep our economic impact strong. And so, in starting to build models, where we were going to be able to be successful and not only compete with other schools, but lead the nation in our NIL activities. The Country Roads Trust was formed by Oliver Luck and Ken Kendrick. And, there's just been a tremendous amount of activity and new growth. And, it's just a very exciting time. And it is a time of great change. And it's a time of a lot of questions. But it is the future. And so we're very lucky to have such great leadership in the state of West Virginia pulling us through this change in NIL.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Let me continue then with that because you talked about the Country Roads Trust and how they're affecting it. Stephen Ford is doing a great job under the direction with Ken Kendrick and Oliver Luck, and Amanda Maisie, of course, is doing a fantastic job. And there's also Taylor Hagwood that's involved in Country Roads Trust. Now, if you didn't have a Country Roads Trust, guys, you're not going to have the team that you have right now. You say, what do you mean? Well, I'm telling you right now, they put in a ton of money into football already, signing with basketball, getting them involved in the team. They're picking up a lot of players each and every week. And so what we did, the Country Roads Trust, is we went over and interviewed over 35, maybe 38 players. Even the last show there, Amanda had some in there co-hosting as well. But they're all getting money for that. And the question I encountered is, why are you having so much content out there? Well, content is what fills the pockets with coin, with money, moolah, right? So that's what you need, is to have the content. So in COVA, like this right here, that sponsor that whole Country Road 6-episode podcast, you can get their name out there because it's name, image, likeness, which means that, yes, we want to pay them to stay here and to play here. But we also have to worry about economics, as Tommy, too, so diligently explained. And let me say this, okay? What they're doing is they're out there. It's a wild, wild west atmosphere right now. And there's no laws regulating not jack, okay? So we have to get out there, and if you look at it, we are in the forefront. Whether you look at the Shane Lyons up there, how respected he is and how involved he is in the rules changing and what's going to be coming out down the line. And if you look at it Oliver Luck, who knows what's going to happen where he's going with this. Again, West Virginia is at the forefront. And so when we provide all this content, it is because we're trying to get our players paid so they stay to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's where your guys' podcast comes in really big. From like another perspective that I kind of thought about from when the fans started the fundraising, that garnered, a bunch of money that came from, I think one of the greatest resources of West Virginia has always been our people. I think that's always been one of our biggest assets that we have. And so one thing I've been curious about that kind of like is players like selling, like I would like to buy a player jersey, and I know you can put their name on that. And I think that players getting their name out there on like jerseys and things like that that we can sell and buy as fans also gets us invested in them as players. And I think the kids also want to stay for that. They want to stay for the people that bought a jersey for them, that encourage them and help support them. And so I was wondering if you guys have are trying to figure out a way for fans to kind of like, instead of going for big donors, but maybe trying to do it collective throughout the state, the small $10 donor guys and stuff like that, where, I mean, granted jerseys are going to be more than that, but, that gives the chance for the West Virginia, our greatest, asset, to really get out there and put our money behind it.
Yeah, Tommy, to answer that quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a variety of different ways that individuals can contribute. There's the subscription service that the Country Roads Trust is going to be rolling through. I also have other donors who have just came to me and said, "Hey, Tommy, I want to give $100 a month, put it into the pot. I don't care where it goes to. I trust everybody." Other ways that people are helping. I'll go back to we're having fun with what we're doing. Okay, the Jalen Bridges pepperoni roll that I'm the agent of. Okay, just our West Virginia nation, okay, liking and sharing that video.
Yeah.
Just that, no one had to spend a penny. Just all of our togetherness and liking and sharing that propelled that, to the point where it ended up on ESPN's best deals in NIL and college sports. So all that exposure that the state got wasn't because anybody paid any money. It was together. We liked it and we shared it and we all grew it together. It didn't cost us a penny. So there's lots of
I did not know, Tommy, too, that we would get 10 minutes in and you'd be mentioning your pepperoni roll commercial. On ESPN, man.
Everything doesn't cost money.
Oh my gosh!
Button, right?
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Sometimes
I knew it was coming. I didn't know you were going to do it within 10 minutes. All right, so that's good stuff. But listen, as Tommy was saying it, and what's really important is when you go ahead and you support a Country Roads Trust, knowing that it's NIL. Okay, what does that do to Encova? Because you're supporting your watching. So again, and I'm not just saying Encova, okay, I'm saying anyone that's a sponsor. They're coming up with a lot of big sponsors, and rightfully so. But when you're doing that, again, you're helping. You're not even spending a penny, but you're supporting, and so that makes advertisers go, there's marketability with that. That's getting out there to our customers. It's a real world, man. We're living in a real world, and money means a whole bunch, economics especially. So just get out there and support, man. Get out there. Don't worry about it because we're keeping players. I'll tell you, something's going to come out, and you're going to find out one of our big players that come in will be supported by NIL. And NIL is there for a reason, and the Mountaineers and Mountaineer Nation and the state of West Virginia need it all.
Yeah.
And awesome. One more thing about what you're asking about, how the ways that people can help without any money. Okay, one of the biggest things that NIL has brought is more charitable enactments into the state, and using these NIL athletes to work with charities that are helping to raise more money for that charity. And so again, all that people have to do is participate with the charity, and that helps also. You don't have to spend the money. It's about charity, and the charity in West Virginia is great already, as we all know, but NIL and all the different charities in the state are working together more so than ever, and that's been great for helping the people in the state that need it most.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, on that note, make sure you guys like and share the video. It always helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Support's key for the Mountaineers, for the Country Roads Trust staying ahead in the NIL game as this continues to develop, and sports key for us here on YouTube, as well. So if you're watching on the video side, that subscribe button, hit that like button, it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you're listening on the audio side on Apple Podcasts, leave us a rating. That helps there as well. And while we're on the subject of Country Roads Trust, and NIL, our other co-host unfortunately couldn't be here with us today, Steven, but he did have a question he wanted me to ask you guys, Tommy 2 and Wolfman. So from our other co-host, he says, with Country Roads Trust now in place, for a school like West Virginia, who has prided themselves on getting recruits that can develop over time, and the top teams typically getting guys that can start right away, how does West Virginia keep up within the Power 5 schools, getting talent and keeping talent on board?
I'll tell you what you're going to do. Let me take that real quick, Tommy. So what happens is there's only so much resource available to a West Virginia type team. You have to make the most out of those resources for key positions. Okay, it's a new day and age in college football. Don't talk to me about development anymore as a majority of what's happening. Forget about redshirting all the time. Offense, defensive linemen, absolutely. But it's about playing. And again, you better make the most. I told Shane in the ESPN broadcast that you have to be the best at the transfer portal. As coaches, you have to be the best, knowing how to use that to fulfill your needs. And the same thing is with NIL and the resources that you do have. You have to be the best as a university, as being agents, as Country Roads Trust, to fill in those specific needs where the money is needed. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, and I think Wolfman's definitely right. But to add a little bit more to that, I think that we really need to outthink people. Just because we don't have as much money as somebody else doesn't mean we're not smarter. We're not going to outwork them, and we don't have better intellectual talent. We don't need all the money to beat everybody else, man. We've got great people. We've got great talent. And when we all work together, it's going to be something special. And, our NIL collective isn't ran by a bunch of boosters who are restaurant owners. Okay, we have Oliver Luck, who's one of the foremost minds in sport. We have Ken Kendrick, one of the owners of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Those guys work and negotiate in sport for a living. Okay, this is not guys who are regular boosters just throwing money together to have fun. Well, they have a strategic plan in place. As Wolf alluded to earlier, Shane Lyons is one of the authorities in the country on the portal and the head of many committees. Okay, we have many people who are leading the way in this greatest change in the economics of sport. So, yeah, we may not have as much money, but we've got the best people, and we're going to outwork people, and we're going to outthink people, and we're going to show them the true West Virginia. Then
you're going to outsmart them, Tommy, too. You outsmart them.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Outsmart them, hit them, and out-hustle. Yeah, and I think that actually plays into kind of like what we see with our athletics right now, where that almost feels like a culture thing. It's a culture of West Virginia. It's the culture of who we are. And so we've been looking for a culture program building guy, and I feel like we found that in a guy like Neil Brown that has embraced the family aspect. And that's why when you hear him say words like, I believe more now in the kind of program that I'm running than I ever have before, it's things that like that make you think that we're headed in the right directions because it's a culture thing. And it seems that, we're really trying to embody that and get kids to stay here with that kind of culture. And I think, it draws kids and it makes them want to play for that kind of program.
I agree with you. And to the end of culture changes, that's important, but we look at it introspectively as West Virginians. We also have to change the cultural perspective of others having of us across the country. Because when we're trying to recruit, and these recruits don't know West Virginia and they only hear the poor comments and the negative stereotypes that are common about our state, that really hurts us. And so we have to do culture change outside the borders of the state for our recruiting. And that's to recruit everybody, the best doctors, the best athletes, the best in everything. So all of us together, really need to work on changing that culture outside of our borders, do the things that we're doing just like this.
But Tommy, you got to do that from inside, though. We got to change us first in our way of thinking. Not the sky is falling, not that we're West Virginia, not that we're last in different areas, or where are we first, and what are the positives? How much I hear this crap all the time. Oh, the sky is falling. We're West Virginia. We can't win in West Virginia. We don't have the resources that the SEC does. Well, let me tell you something. I played for a national championship, okay, and we've had teams that have done it extremely well. We can win, and we can do it in here. And to put it all together with the leadership that we have, okay, that's good. But you got to have the Chiefs, but you better have your Indians as well. And what I mean by that is you better have the followers that are there supporting in the way that they can. Each of us has a role. Don't know if it's money. Don't know if it's giving time. Don't know if it's going out there and letting people know what we need. Okay? That's what we're going to do. That really leads into where we're headed for our show that we're doing, the Wolfman Tommy 2. I'll let you get into that later. Go ahead and shoot. What's next?
No, that's actually perfect timing because I was going to kind of segue into that anyways and talk a little bit about your all show because I can tell just now by sitting here talking with you guys just a little bit that we've got to having a great time, by the way. But you all have great chemistry, and I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to watch it. But just tell Mountaineer Nation a little bit about some of the things you guys are going to be covering and where they can find that because I'd love to hear about more and see more of the Wolfman and Tommy 2 interact together.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I am going to go ahead because it says Wolfman and Tommy 2. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. All right, but no, honestly, I've been really excited about this. I've wanted to do this for a very, very long time. I have my own show, and I got together with Tommy, and I'm like, Tommy too, man. We got so many contacts throughout the state, throughout Mountaineer Nation, and we're like, man, when we came together, put our resources together, we could really come up with something special to promote not only WVU but West Virginia. What's good about West Virginia, and talk about the situations that maybe put us in a different light, maybe not so good of a light, how we can fix it. There's going to be a lot of that stuff, but mainly it is a sports show. We are talking sports WVU sports. We're talking about what's the national issues of the day. We're going to have guest galore. I used to be a part of the varsity club. Just recently left, and I have so many former alumni that just want to get on and talk about their love of WVU, their sports. And our first show is going to be taped from the 10th floor of WVU Medicine Children's with Jeff Hossa, the Hoss man. This is what's going. It's going to go big, and it's going to show that Mountaineer floor. It's what he did, man. Talk about getting jacked up for the Wolfman and Tommy 2 show. I mean, my goodness, man. I got the cane to prove it. We're here. We're fired up. Tommy 2, go ahead and fill in, man.
Well, Wolf's got all the energy and passion for a lot of the X's and O's stuff. And what I'm trying to bring to the show is all the other things that tie into sports. We're going to be bringing feature foods from different restaurants every week. We're going to be talking about unique subjects, just old school, man, around the table, laughing, talking, having fun. We want to talk a little bit about history and some of the Mountaineer things that have really helped build and form who we are. I mean, there's just so many good things that we have to talk about in our state. And, sports is West Virginia. And certainly any type of news variety show in West Virginia, if you don't have sports involved, you don't have anything. We've got so much positive news around the entire state, as Wolfman said. There's just so much good stuff to talk about. But we're going to bring a lot of new energy to it. We're going to do some stuff on campus. We're going to be in different locations. And, again, focusing on charity all at the same time. But a lot of truth and a lot of fun and a lot of behind-the-scenes kind of stuff. And we're just going to bring it to you the right way, man.
And let me just say, it's a lot of smack as well. Okay, you got truth, love, and fun. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have the other thing too is eventually it's going to go live as well, and we're going to have a lot of fan interaction. I don't mean fans of me or Tommy too, which I doubt he'll have any. But I'm saying is that the fans of these sports teams, we're going to have NIL. We're going to have the players. I believe. Are we allowed to say who the first NIL guest is, Tommy, too?
No, we can't say it yet. No.
Come on.
Yeah, we can't. Oh, my gosh. All right. Okay, well, I already.
It's not dry, man. The ink's not dry, man. We got
I'll tell you what.
No little tasty bits, nothing, no breadcrumb.
Truth, love. What did you say? Truth, love, and what did you say? With fun?
That's a little breadcrumb.
All right, when he starts talking about love and stuff, I'm going to start talking smack. I'm going to tell you that right now. Okay, because that's right there.
It's all about love, but we also want to do a lot of fan engagement. We're going to do some different types of contests and have a lot of fun and really draw people in of all ages because, we're a unique state in that, Mountaineer Nation is from, 14-year-olds to 80-year-olds. And, there's not that many of us. So, we're really going to reach to all different generations, through the show. And
Tommy, too. What are you? Are you working for the state for the travel or what? What are you, man? For vacations? Hit the state of West Virginia? Whatever is positive. I'm Tommy, too. You're super agent. Going ahead and selling everything.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do. All the best and brightest of West Virginia all in one place. That's what we're all trying to do. Every podcast, everything we're doing is all about growing West Virginia, baby.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of what's good, then, what's good with your podcast? Tell us about it.
Well, we get on here. We'll talk WVU football pretty much all at least once a week. Try to throughout the season. We'll do a game review show. Been trying to grow it up on YouTube lately, doing some YouTube exclusive things on there. So that's always good. And with that, I guess I'll bring it full circle. I started off talking about the 2022 Mountaineers. We might as well come back and talk a little bit more about the upcoming season because, spring just wrapped up. We're heading into summer, we're approaching fall, so I'm getting excited. Mountaineer football season, best time of the year, of course. But what are your guys' thoughts? I think West Virginia has 4 scholarships remaining now. What are the areas that you all think West Virginia should target for those scholarships? I know they probably need some depth in the secondary. Some people have mentioned wide receiver, but in your all's opinion, where do you think West Virginia should go, and what else do they need to add to make this team great like we all know it can be here in Mountaineer Nation?
Yeah, obviously on the defensive side, they got to get a linebacker. They need to get some secondary help in there as well. Got a lot of youth in there. A lot of skill there. Fast guys. I can think of Ballinger Davis at the spear position. Boy, he's going to be good. You saw Aubrey Burks make that interception there at a double coverage pick. It was a great job, but a lot of skill. They're youth. They need a little bit of help. They need a little bit more experience back there. And I think that's what we're definitely going after. Wide receiver, I'm telling you, they can get a wide receiver, but they got some really good young ones. When you look at Jarrell Williams, who had a nice spring game, but you got your top three and BFW, Sam James, and Caden Prather. Then you got Reese Smith. Then you got Grayson Melchevitz. You know what I'm saying? And so you're okay there. And again, that's what I alluded to before with the 20 personnel running backs, getting 2 running backs out there, not only in the running game, but helping in the passing game as well. Because, again, you have all this talent. You got 4 true running backs that can have ball skills, meaning they can catch the ball. They have to be involved. So as you see, the Graham Harrell likes to go long ball. He likes the medium. And then those checkdowns to the running backs are going to play a big role in this offense.
I think we need to continue with more help on the defensive side of the ball, like we've talked about. We've got so many tools on offense, and I'm a nose guard man, so I believe those guys in the middle are the ones that control the pace of the game. And yeah, we need some help in the secondary with some experience, but I've got a lot of confidence in the offense, and that we've got so many tools. And when you're able to really intellectually manipulate people on offense because you have so many tools, it makes it a little bit easier. Defense, you got to be stout, baby. You know what I mean? So, I want
right.
to.
You got to be what?
Stout, man. You got to be strong on defense. You got to play team, man. So,
man, I'll tell you what.
I'd like to see us get some more experience on defense, but I have full faith in the coaching staff and what they have going on, and nobody knows more than what they do, and so it's always hard for all of us fans. We're all fans, to just.
You need to go back to representing West Virginia, man. Your positivity is overwhelming in that area. Go back there and leave the breakdowns to me.
Hey, man, we can only do what we can do. We can only do it.
Well, I've got one more question. I've got another one for you guys. So we're down here in southern West Virginia, Princeton. A guy that comes from the neighborhood right beside us in Bluefield is Sean Martin. And I think that's a guy that a lot of people are looking forward to taking a step. A lot of people around here have a lot of love for Sean Martin. So give us your thoughts on him. Let us know how our local boy is doing and what you can expect from him this year.
Hey, Bluefield, my alma mater, so I got to Sean Martin represent.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Martin is the grandson of Doc Riley, who was a running back back in I think it was early 70s. Who was very heavily involved in the football world to this day, especially in football clinics around the country. But going to Sean, wow, he's a big kid, good looking. I mean, he looks like he's a legit NFL prospect down the road. He's come a long ways. He needs to come more ways, if you know what I'm saying. But his technique has gotten a lot better. He's using it. He started to think the game, they always say it slows down. What do you mean by slowing down? Well, again, sometimes it's so fast that you just can't capture what you're doing, and you're trying to think. When you start thinking, man, that really slows you down. When it becomes automatic, when you've repped your repetitions for your techniques. So in the fourth quarter, you're not sitting there thinking about your technique because this is going to be automatic, and that's when you become that real player, and that's where he is going to. And he's making that transfer. He's going to be just fine. They love him up here in Morgantown. They love him for what he's going to be. They love his character. He's a strong character kid. I'll tell you a story real quick. And I know I'm cutting your time off, Tommy, too, but that's okay.
You're all right. Real quick, I did about 3 minutes ago, but that's okay. It's good stuff, man. Keep it going, man.
Well, here's the story. So Sean Martin was getting interviewed that week by Amanda Maisie. And he was just blushing out there because he really was just this good-natured kid. And here's Amanda interviewing him and telling him he's doing good things. And he just really didn't know how to experience that. And kick it to last week, we interviewed Sean, or a couple of weeks ago with Amanda and I did in the Country Roads Trust. And he was much more composed as an interviewee, okay, because he's learning that experience. It's all those things come in there, and it plays into effect because it's on the field, it's off the field activities, reporters to asking you questions here. You have to get, to be really suave in that area, and he's becoming that. So he's growing, not only in the field, but he's growing entirely. And I love the young man. I love watching him. And God bless him. He stays healthy. He's going to have a future beyond WVU.
Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Good
yeah, well, that's the truth, man. And I always bring the truth. What did Tommy say too?
That's what it's all
Truth,
about.
love, and fun. Well, okay.
Truth, love, and laugh, baby. Truth, love, and laugh.
I love it. And laughs. Okay. Again, talking smack now. All right. You bring that love. I'll bring the smack.
I'll bring the pal. We both got the boom.
You gotta.
So, guys, what else
Hey, gotta love it.
Your show? What are you guys planning on doing over the summer? Tell us about some of the things that you're looking at doing during the dead season, man. What do you guys got for us?
Throughout the off season, we've been trying to do a little bit of these. Just sit down. We've sat down with some before. We sat down with Eugene Napoleon, Brian Joswiak. So far, just trying to have some interview episodes. Kind of keep people engaged throughout the off season, and then on YouTube, just updating it as players sign. If anybody commits to the Mountaineers, we'll have some commitment videos out on those, and then Bradley down here does a little segment he calls Talking the Trail, where he talks about the 2023 class, and Neil Brown's built another good one for sure. Really appreciate you guys asking about it, and hope to check your all show out, and hope you guys follow us now that we've had the chance to meet each other and interact, because Mountaineers supporting Mountaineers, that just helps the content continue to grow and get the West Virginia brand out there bigger and better, which is what the ultimate goal is.
Well,
but
how do you follow your show?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
tell us how to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube, Country Roads Webcast, any podcast platform, Apple Podcast, Anchor, Spotify, Amazon, all those. You can check it out, Country Roads Webcast. And then
we got
on
Facebook
Twitter,
too.
we're at WVU Country Roads. Yep, Facebook, Country Roads Webcast. The video versions of the podcast are always up on YouTube and Facebook, and the audio's up on any podcast platform for sure. But I know I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, but I'd be amiss if I didn't ask you guys about the biggest news of the offseason. Well, arguably the biggest news of the offseason. You could go with the Graham Harrell hire as well, but more recently, the big news that's going to affect the 2022 WVU season is we got to get your guys' thoughts on JT Daniels and what he means to the Mountaineers for this upcoming season, to go out and get a quarterback with some experience versus when you had three guys who have not started a game yet at this level before. What are your guys' thoughts on JT Daniels and the significance for West Virginia this season, and how big that was for the Mountaineers? Tommy, Wolf, whoever wants to take it first.
Tommy, take it. No, take it. I want to hear what your breakdown is, because then I want to critique it.
Well, I think anytime that you can add to a position where you have a lack of experience, it's a positive thing. Obviously, JT Daniels has been at the forefront of college football and performed at a high level during the times that he wasn't hurt, and that's a big get for us, because a lot of the concern, was simply we had a lot of talent but no experience. So, certainly I think it's an exciting opportunity to bring in a guy that's got experience, and I hope that he beats out the other three guys. Who knows? I mean, we got four guys now competing to play quarterback.
Right.
One of them's coming here with more experience and reputation. We got other guys that know the team better, and they're going to be hungry. So I think it breeds more competition as well. And so I think that's great. And I am for whoever is the best person to be under center. I don't care if they're a freshman or a senior. I don't care where they come from. Everyone's going to go out on the field, and everyone's going to earn it. So that's why I'm excited, is we got more people fighting to lead us.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. Well, I think you've been listening to me too much. I'll tell you that much. That wasn't bad for being Tommy too right there. But I want to say this. One time he was a 5-star product, correct? So, again, that doesn't suck. Yes. All right? Having him in there, we have three guys that have not started the game. He is a proven commodity for when he has been in the game. But he's missed 35 games as well. So he's got a lot to prove. He's admitted himself that he wants to obviously prove that he can be, consistent. So consistency is going to be a big part. We don't need him for 3 games. We need him for 12, right? That's what we need, to have a guy like that that's a leader. He's been at Georgia. He's been at USC. He's been with Graham Harrell. He obviously can fit into the offense. And I think that it's what Tommy too said, is it's about competition. And, iron sharpens iron, man. That's on Mike Joseph's wall in the weight room, right? As one person sharpens another. The competition is what it's all about. And getting that competition in that quarterback room, the game is all about the quarterback now, okay? Because they have to make the decisions that run the offense. Are they going to throw the ball with the check with me packages? Are they going to pass the ball? where are they going to go to? Where's the blitz coming from? What's the coverage? The game is all about the quarterback and the execution. And having a guy with that type of talent is something that seriously is well needed. And again, having an offensive line that can hold up, having running backs that Chad Scott said this spring, the best thing they did was they didn't miss any recognitions of blitzing. Okay, because you couldn't say that last year. So again, going back to that, you sit there and you think about the pieces being put together. If Jared Dagey could have had some time, okay, to throw the ball, he showed when he did have time that he could execute. Okay, when you don't throw the ball, I don't care who you are, even if you're Troy Aikman or Tom Brady or whatever quarterback's your guy. If you don't have time to throw and make decisions, then you got real trouble. And of course, there's a lot of that whole offense leading into those decisions, not just the offensive line, it was running backs, maybe some bad decisions by Jared. But I will tell you this, man, and this is off topic, but Jared Dagey is one of the toughest individuals I've ever watched because he stood in there and got killed, okay, and still tried. So all my respect to him. Western Kentucky, I think it's Western Kentucky he went to, so good luck to him. But, having Graham Harrell, JT Daniels, Nico Marchio, Will Goose Crowder, Gigi, Garrett Green, okay, they're all going to be competing if they're here, which I think they will be. But again, you can't help but say that's a great addition, and may the best man win because we're Mountaineer Nation, and we only want the best for WVU.
Yeah, my thing with
I want to add something if I can. I think one thing that's going to be unique about JT Daniels is he is only going to be here for a very short period of time. Okay, I think by all guesstimates, obviously he's expecting to have a successful season and then get drafted. Okay, and so he's going to arrive here in June. He's going to be gone in December or after a January bowl game that we pray for. Okay, and so. I think in Mountaineer Nation falling in love with our quarterbacks and really becoming a part of the community and loving and feeling the energy of the stadium, with him only being here for a short time, I think that's going to be a quick culture jump in for him. And, I think to some of the younger guys that are here and going to be here in the future, it's a little bit of a different path that they're on. They're going to be here and learn and earn that fan engagement for the future. And, so I do think it's a little different than, he's only going to come, he's only going to be here hopefully a year because he's going to do well and he's going to go into the draft. So he's only going to be here 6 months. So, how all that spins and everything, I don't know, but that's it.
No, I know how it's spinning for you because you're trying to put it all together in your super agent thinking brain. Okay, so you got Nico Marchio, the Italian Army. You got by the way, I tell you, I got my pepperoni roll commercial on ESPN TV. By the way, the Italian Army pepperoni rolls, right? Oh, there's the connection. That's how he thinks right there. So he's giving you his layout. I'll tell you what, that's good stuff. But what's better is the fact that we have that option to go to any one of those guys, any one of them. And like I said, the best person's going to win. And whoever that is, then that's just good for Mountaineer Nation.
Amen. Whoever the best man is for Mountaineer Nation is the best person for the job. That's what we need.
Absolutely. And I think something that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that the guy is a national champion. Right. Like, you can't take that away from him. Like, he is a national championship, and he was the guy for a national championship team at the beginning of the year and lost that due to injury. So, people can say whatever they want to. The fact that and it brings that national championship just mindset with him. Just like that could be a big change in our locker room for just kids to see, the mindset it takes to, step on the field and do that.
Get it done.
Absolutely. And the recruits that he can help us with, there's a million things, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah. Definitely a blessing for Mountaineer Nation.
One last thing. Don't think that NIL going to come into play in getting a 5-star recruit to come to campus. I have no idea about the details. I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you that's how important NIL is. That's good. I'm sure it had to. There's no way it doesn't. And that's the future of college sports. So West Virginia can, when they use the right resources, get a 5-star player to come to Morgantown.
Absolutely. The proof's in the pudding right there on that one. Yeah, definitely.
Right
So
on, brothers, right
I know
on.
kept you guys a little bit longer than we wanted to and planned to, but get talking Mountaineers and we could go all day here. But before we get out here, let you guys go, just one more time, if you want to tell Mountaineer Nation where they can find your all show and when it's going to be debuting and all the great content coming. If you've had a great time here, you're definitely going to want to check that out. Tommy too and Wolfman. I know we've had a great time with them.
Yeah,
and
we'll be checking it out for
had a
sure.
great time listening and watching. So if you guys just want to tell people the name of the channel, where they can find it, and just push that out a little bit.
Well, because this is YouTube, I'm going to say it's Wolfman and Tommy 2 show right there on YouTube. And just go to it, subscribe to it. We just started the channel. I have a whole bunch of all my videos up there, but recently to recognize it as the spring game, the 2022 spring game. We're going to be putting in a whole lot more of Wolfman and Tommy 2 because you can't shut them up. You just witness it for the last 35 minutes. Okay, so again, you go to Wolfley64 on Twitter. You go to @WolfmanWV on Facebook. That's my public page, my professional page. And, of course, forget anything, Tommy, too. We're going to have it all the podcasts, everything that you just mentioned out there. We'll have all of that. We'll have a ton of advertisement because Tommy just likes to see his face all the time out there rolling. And what else, Tommy, too? Go ahead.
I think you covered all the bases, man. Yeah, we're just going to be out advertising on lots of different places. Wolf mentioned the YouTube channel and, man, just all the same places that people find all the great stuff, just like your guys' podcast, man. That's where they'll find us.
I want to thank you guys, too, because, honestly, you guys are positive about WVU and West Virginia.
Yeah. Big fan.
And we really appreciate the job that you're doing. I would say keep it up, if you will, in a non-condescending way, because we all have to play our roles and we all have to keep going. Have fun talking about the Mountaineers, too. It's a pleasure and an honor to be able to do so. So enjoy yourself when you do. And let's get Mountaineer Nation going in a positive way of thinking, a positive direction. And let's sure hope our sports teams have a really successful season and future seasons.
Let's go to that.
Well said. Okay. Well said. That means a lot. Definitely means a lot coming from you guys, and we'll continue to push the positivity, tell people to trust the climb. That's what we've been doing since the beginning, and West Virginia, they're going to get back on top of that mountaintop, no doubt in my mind for sure, and really appreciate you guys and just honored to have you all on, and appreciate the listeners for tuning into the Country Roads webcast as always. And if you're watching on the video side, one more time, hit that subscribe button. Like I always like to say, it helps us, it helps you, helps get more of this Mountaineer football content out to Mountaineer Nation. If you're listening on the podcast side on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and drop us a review and hit that like button on Facebook. That helps, or on YouTube rather, that helps the YouTube algorithm. But if you want to hit it on Facebook too, that's fine. We'll take all the likes we can get. But appreciate Tommy too and Wolfman for joining us. For my co-host Brad, as always, I'm Jordan Cruz. And until next time, let's go Mountaineers.
If you really want to know, then come on, let's go. Take a stroll down those